Guys, so we are back, and this is our dehydrated pizza crust. And so what, as you can see, it's a little pliable, but at the same time it's nice and firm so it can hold our ingredients. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add our toppings. So I actually made a barbecue sauce that I am going to actually use as my base for my pizza crust. And how I made that was with I did a 1 plum tomato, and I actually rehydrated some sun-dried tomatoes. So I essentially let them soak in water for about 15-20 minutes so that they could rehydrate. And that is to give it its color and also add a little flavor to my tomato sauce. And to that I added some fresh herbs like oregano. Here, some oregano, some fresh thyme, some fresh rosemary. And I actually have a basil plant growing in my indoor garden. So I actually added some fresh basil, and I added some pure liquid smoke. Here, this is through Living Nutritional, which is a raw vegan company that I purchased that from. And then I used a little cayenne pepper, organic cayenne pepper, some onion powder, and also added in some alderwood, just a pinch of alderwood smoked sea salt. And also I added some fennel seeds that I got from my Amish grocer. So anyway, I added that as my base, and to that I'm going to add my toppings. So I actually had some oyster mushrooms. So what I did was I made a bowl which marinated these in with some herbs, the same herbs that I mentioned before, and I also added to this just a few sprigs of some kale. I don't really usually like to eat raw kale because it's not good generally for digestion, but definitely not for me. Some people are okay with eating raw kale. I don't like to eat raw kale. I'm, again, mostly fruitarian, so I eat more fruits than anything. Less vegetables, but everybody's different, so what works for you, do you. What works for me, I will do for me. So I'm adding on these are actually, again, the oyster mushrooms that I diced up with some fresh herbs and some kale here. And then I'm going to add some really thinly sliced tomatoes. And these pizzas are really small. Again, these are like little personal pizzas, actually smaller even than a personal pizza. And then I have some onions that I actually chopped. So I'll add some onions. I have some red and yellow onions that I'll add to this. In fact, let me kind of cut this a little bit to smaller pieces since our pizzas are really small. But I love onions, so here. And I also have some zucchini. This was the green zucchini. I actually sort of took some of the moisture off of here because zucchini is very, very moist. It retains a lot of water. So I took some of that off. And I have some habaneros. I love spicy food, so I do have some fresh habaneros. If you're not into spice, please omit that because these can get extremely hot. Have your mouth on fire. And I actually didn't even pull the seeds out of here. That's how much I do like spices. And then I have some bell pepper here, so I'll put a few pieces of bell pepper on here. I have the red and the yellow bell pepper. Yeah. And what else we have? Oh, and I have some diced mango. I like my pizza with fruit on it. So if I was into pineapples, it would be pineapples on here, but here in the US, pineapples are quite acidic, so I don't really eat a lot of pineapple. Mostly do other more sweet fruits like mangoes and such. So we have mango here, quite a bit of that on there. And I also made some cheese using tahini butter. So we're going to put a little of that on there. Let me get a spoon. And how I made this was just some raw tahini butter and actually 2 limes. I used 2 whole limes and a little bit of onion powder, a few chops of regular onion, and I probably put a pinch of sea salt. I don't remember if I put any sea salt in here or not. Might not have, I don't remember. And that's pretty much it. And I blended this, and it's actually really good, quite surprising. And so what I'm going to do is put this back in the dehydrator and let it dehydrate probably for another couple hours or so. And here you can take a look at it. That is our final mini pizza. And I'll be back in a couple hours and let you see the final results.